Your freedom is at stake, ladies and gentlemen. My freedom is at stake. The war on paper money and the desire to surveil you and the desire to control you has just escalated on a federal level. See, what you see before you right now is just happening to one nation. But before you know it, it's going to happen in the US, where I live. It's going to happen in Canada, Australia, the UK. Even if it doesn't happen, there's going to be an attempt to do this. So we need to do everything in our power to stop this hellish dystopian future from happening. So let's find out some details. The story is this. Greeks set to face heavy fines if they don't spend 30% of their income electronically. As in 30% of their income cannot be transacted in cash. This is a mandate from the federal government. It has to be transacted electronically, as in a centralized third party has to surveil you. It has to give you permission. If you want to make or receive a payment, you have to go through whatever party it is. You have to use your credit card, and your data probably will be tracked. Now, the government says, according to this article, the government says the reason that they're doing this is to stop rampant tax evasion. Plus, they expect to raise more than $808 million every year from this initiative. This is obviously a slippery slope. This is not a direction we want to head towards, because today it's 30% in Greece. Tomorrow it's 100% where we live. So this is an indictment of our freedom. I think we need to take to the streets. Well, I don't really want to get out of bed, but hey, I'm going to take to Twitter. I'm going to retweet this. I'm going to like this. I want to get this awareness out there. I'm even going to retweet this and give my opinion. Buying Bitcoin is a peaceful way to opt out of this effed up dystopian future. Quote me. Hey, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for our daily videos keeping you informed on everything going on with Bitcoin, crypto, the whole market. There's a lot of interesting news today. Check this out. The biggest public channel on the Lightning Network has just opened between Bitrefill and OpenNode. It's 2 Bitcoin. Here is the proof. So let's answer some questions, because the biggest question is, well, why is this such a big deal? And the reason that this is good for the future of Bitcoin and good for the future of the Lightning Network, it's because it's very high capacity, connecting 2 highly connected nodes, making sending high value transactions more reliable for everybody. In fact, it's the highest capacity channel to date. So today it's news, tomorrow it's history. It's the highest one to date at $15,000. The second highest is between Bitrefill and ACINQ at 1.8 BTC. And the third is between OpenNode and Blue Wallet at 1.67 BTC. Now, the obvious next question is, well, does that centralization of network capacity create any risk? I'm guessing maybe higher fees? And the answer is no. Actually, it's actually quite the opposite. Centralization would be if there were less channels, but with higher capacity. That's not what's happening. Instead, we're getting more channels with higher capacity between more entities. This is decreasing centralization. The scenario with the new high capacity channel includes all the prior decentralization properties and more. This is really good for the bigger picture for Bitcoin. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see, well, for instance, right now, I think of Bitcoin as a store of value, and you think of Bitcoin as a store of value. I think in the next 5 years, the general public will see Bitcoin as a store of value. But after that, eventually, it's going to have to be a means of everyday payment, and we don't need to hit that mark yet. But eventually, we're going to have to be ready for when that time comes. And I like to see this infrastructure being built out and the network growing. And speaking about big picture, let's talk about this, because December 2019, it's almost over. We're almost ending the year. And we're doing more than ending the year. We're ending the decade. And a lot of people are going to think back, what will the 2010s be remembered for? And I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, well, the biggest unicorns of the 2010s was Uber, it was Airbnb, it was Snapchat. I'm here to postulate that when history looks back at the 2010s, people will remember the biggest unicorn of the 2010s was actually Bitcoin. Because as you can see here, and as you already know, Bitcoin outperformed Amazon, it outperformed Apple, Visa, Microsoft. And the point of this is not to suggest that past performance will equal future results. The point of this is just to say that people are noticing this. People are noticing this, and there's more infrastructure today, and there's more on-ramps today. You gotta think that more and more people are starting to take notice of this. And in the next 10 years, in the next decade, as long as Bitcoin continues to work, more and more people are going to throw 1% or 2% or 3% into Bitcoin just to see what happens, and Bitcoin's awareness and Bitcoin's trust is going to keep increasing. That's what I think. Now, speaking of investing in Bitcoin today, I liked this tweet, so I wanted to share it with you. It puts into perspective how different things are at this point in the market today. So 2 years ago, when Bitcoin euphoria was hard to ignore, for instance, smart investors, people like Bob Lucas, cashed out of their Bitcoin position back then, took some profits, turned it into gold, and there's his proof of purchase. Today, right now, the sentiment is the other extreme. I don't know about you, but I feel an exhaustion in the market right now. Some people are talking about how they might sell or trade because they think Bitcoin's going to chop around or go lower. The point is this, and Bob Lucas summed it up: if 10-year price action of Bitcoin holds true, this is an opportunity you can't ignore. It's a long game. Patience, discipline. In fact, I just bought a little bit more Bitcoin today. All right, we're going to finish up today's video with 3 recent cryptocurrency news stories. And then at the end, I want to take a look at coinmarketcap.com, check out some of the biggest swings in altcoins. It's going to be pretty interesting. Let's start right here. LedgerX, you know LedgerX, they've just placed their founders on administrative leave after an apparent tussle with the CFTC. So CEO and COO Paul and Juthika Chow are no longer running the company that they founded. This is after a press release Monday announced that the couple had been placed on administrative leave, effective immediately, with Larry E. Thompson named as interim CEO and lead director of Ledger Holdings, the derivative provider's parent company. The board composition is tricky, Juthika Chow told CoinDesk via email. There's nobody else on the board that knows computer science, Bitcoin, and derivatives, which makes these conflicts and disagreements often difficult. Paul and I wish the new management team well. Cold. Well, you know that LedgerX offers Bitcoin derivatives products to institutional and retail investors in the US, primarily physically settled options and swap contracts. The company failed. This is just a reminder. The company failed in a bid to launch physically settled Bitcoin futures earlier this year, although its application to modify a commodity futures trading commission registration allowing it to do so remains outstanding. To finish this up, according to a pair of letters obtained by CoinDesk through a Freedom of Information request in September, the company's leadership believed that former CFTC chairman Christopher Giancarlo held a personal animus towards LedgerX due to a blog post written by Paul Chow. For whatever reason, we don't really know the specifics about what's going on here. I'll tell you one thing though, Bitcoin doesn't care. Something else that Bitcoin doesn't care about. HUOBI US closes doors after weak demand. The US partner of the HUOBI exchange has decided to fold its business due to low demand, and liquidity will stop operations after December 15th. So this isn't normal HUOBI, this is the US HUOBI. And for whatever reason, US crypto people are not choosing to do business on US HUOBI. Final story before we move over to coinmarketcap.com. The Intercontinental Exchange's Bitcoin trading platform Bakkt has finally launched its cash-settled Bitcoin futures. So Bakkt no longer good for Bitcoin. Let's jump on over to CoinMarketCap. You know, we don't normally do this, but I was taking a look at some of the biggest winners, and then I jumped over here to biggest losers in the past 24 hours. And I was surprised to see that Matic got dumped 60%. That was the big one. We also have Ravencoin and Fetch AI and Energy. They took a big dip. Verge took a big dip. Jumping on over here, if we click on Matic, so I saw this down 57%. And then I looked, I was like, whoa, this actually went up way more than 57%. It's just on a slight correction. So Matic, I mean, here's the thing. Matic highly centralized when they did their exchange offering. When people do exchange offerings, it's even worse than ICOs, because with exchange offerings, now exchanges keep such a large portion of the coins. So I don't know, maybe Binance had something to do with this. Right now, Bitcoin trading at 7,300. Got a little uptrend going on within this greater downtrend. Anyways, that is it for me, my friends. This is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. I'll see you tomorrow.